Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Hinderer Halftrack Gen 2. Not just any Hinderer Halftrack Gen 2. This is the USA-made blade exclusive version with full titanium and the 20CV Spanto blade. It is not inexpensive, $585. I think this might be the most expensive knife I've ever reviewed here for now. I have one coming up later this week that's even more expensive, so I'm not going to go full expensive on the knives, but this one is really cool, and it's kind of a cool story how I wound up with it in my hands. If you guys have been following this channel for a while, you know I went on kind of a Hinderer journey for the last year, I think is what I'm going to call it. I had the Zero Tolerance 0393, the Stonewash sprint run they had. I really liked it. I said, oh God, am I becoming a Hinderer guy? Like, I never really thought I'd really like Hinderers. They always seemed a bit bulky and built up for me, and I just didn't really think it was anything I was really into. But I really like the 0393. So I took the plunge and I bought a Hinderer XM18 3-inch with the forward choil. I really liked it, but I thought I'd made a mistake and I should have gotten the bigger one. So I let that go, and I was going to get a 3.5-inch XM18, and then I mentioned that, and a lot of you guys told me, hey, you should try this new Zero Tolerance that had just come out at the time. And I got the Zero Tolerance 0562 tie, which is also a Hinderer design. It's basically the Zero Tolerance version of the XM18 3.5-inch with the slicer grind. And I really liked it. And I thought my Hinderer Jones was satisfied. And so I really stopped looking at getting another quote-unquote real Hinderer. So then I got a message late one night from Woody, a USA-made blade. Great dude. I have a good relationship with USA-made blade. Awesome company. You know, go check them out, especially with this knife, because it's the only way you can get this particular configuration is from them. And he just said, hey, you have to try a Halftrack. You have to try this this version that we sell. And he says, my favorite Hinderer. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, great. Not going to say no. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, as my mama told me. And he sent this baby along. And yeah, $585. It is one of the more expensive Halftracks you can get. They do also sell a G10 version, which is like $425. But if you get from the USA-made blade, you get this version. You can get a whole bunch of other colors. This is kind of just the most basic one. This is kind of the blank slate / Brian spec version. They have this same version now. It just came out a couple days ago with some copper hardware on it, copper colored hardware, which looks awesome. And then it's USA-made blade, so they offer right off the site to order other different anodization colors. And it's USA-made blade. They can do almost anything. Woody is an anodization wizard, and they don't charge for it. So if you want something custom, fancy, and crazy and cool, yeah, just think to your heart's content. They can get it done, which is pretty freaking great, I do have to say. And Woody said, you know, this is his favorite Hinderer, and I kind of get it. It's pretty awesome. This was sent as a loaner, but that's probably not what it's going to wind up being. I think this is going to wind up in the collection. It's pretty darn cool. Now, let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther. We have an overall length. I'm going to line this up here. They're 1-inch squares here, by the way. Overall length, 6.5 inches. Blade length of dead on 3 inches. Blade thickness, about 0.155 inches, handle thickness 0.55 inches, and a weight of 4.6 ounces. So it is not at all light for this size of knife, but also it does, the G10 version is a little bit lighter. I don't remember exactly what the difference is, but I know the G10 version is a bit lighter. Now I'll do some size comparisons, put it in our usual Spyderco sandwich. First of all, you have your Spyderco Para 3, which is going to be the more accurate comparison. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter even than a Para 3. I think people think Halftracks are much bigger than they are. They're bulky, but they're really not that long. And then your Paramilitary 2, significantly longer. And then I want to get just a couple more little 3-inch knives up here. Start off another Spyderco, your Sage 5. And the Rat Model 2. As you can see, it's even a bit shorter than the Rat Model 2. So it's not a very long knife. It's just kind of a bulky knife, which is kind of its charm, honestly. Let's talk more about the design of this thing. As I said, it comes in other different colors, and you know, it's a Hinderer. It comes in different grinds and all that stuff. different price ranges, whatever you want. But it is very, very, very well built. That is the thing that always blew me away about my XM18 I had, and about this, is just everything is just so nicely finished and just feels expensive. It definitely feels expensive. Great action. This is running on bearings at the moment. It does have the tri-way pivot. We'll talk more about that when we get to deployment, but you can put it on phosphor bronze or Teflon washers. It comes with all those in the box. Centering is perfect. And this has been torn apart a bunch of times because I tried all three of the different, deployment things. I prefer the bearings. Lockup is good. It's like I said, it feels expensive in your hand, and it is. It is expensive, so it should, but it feels that way. I like the finish on the blade. You have the satin up here and this kind of polished, I'm going to call it like a polished bead blasty thing. It's not your normal bead blast finish. It's a bit more polished than that. Pretty minimalist on the logos. You just have the Hinderer logo on this side of the knife and the USA 20CV on this side. Some people think that USA 20CV is a bit big. I don't think so. Your little tri-way pivot indicator here, but that's cool. I like that that's there, especially because you can tell by looking at pictures if it's a Gen 1 or a Gen 2. The Gen 2 has the tri-way pivot. The Gen 1 just runs on the Teflon washers. But even, the pocket clip looks really well done. Even though it's not like a fancy milled pocket clip, it's really well done. A bit thicker than most you're going to see. Hinderer does a great job with the pocket clips. They always get the tension just right. The usual over travel stop. Taking it apart, yes, there is a very expensive Hinderer tool that you can get to hold this side. This particular knife, I didn't even need to use. What I use is I take a penny and mill a little part of it out with my Dremel tool. I think I learned that from watching Nick Shabazz video, because you just have to put a little tension on it. But this one, actually, I've just been able to do with my thumb. You can see it's just a flat head on the other side, and it comes right off. And then, you have your usual Torx bolts back here. The clip is held on with Phillips head. It's just kind of a Hinderer trademark thing. You're not going to take the clip on and off that much, so I'm not really going to object to that. You don't need to take it off even to take the knife apart or anything like that. Very, very well built. The blade, most important part of the knife. This is the Spanto grind. They're very popular amongst Hinderers. They do a whole lot of stuff with that. As I said, the 0393 from the Zero Tolerance even has the Spanto. This is it slices okay. It's not going to be a slicing machine. That's not what these are meant for. You got about 23 thousandths behind the edge through here, which is good. As I said, it's almost 0.16 inch blade stock. It's pretty thick blade stock, but it's pretty thin behind the edge through this part. You're only going to be cutting, slicing with. Up here, it's much thicker. Up here on the Spanto tip, you're getting, I believe it was 0.34, I think is what I measured it at. I've forgotten now. I forgot to write that part down, but I think it was about 0.34. It was well over 0.3 anyway. But still, the edge comes really good out of the box. It's very sharp. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to sharpen. As I said, I'm not sure if this is mine yet or not, so I didn't really go through a full sharpening thing with it or anything like that. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that big of a deal. The way the Spanto works, it's not quite as aggressively it is a multi-grind, but it's not really a super aggressive one. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But I like the blade. It is meant for harder use stuff for sure. That's why it's not a super thin, slicey, but it'll do all your EDC tasks fine, opening boxes, all that stuff. I've carried it a lot and used it for that kind of stuff, and it's perfectly fine. But if you press it into harder use, it's also going to be more capable of that than your, what has become typical now, your 0.11 inch blade stock, very thin slicey blades, which I love those because I'm mostly more of an EDC task kind of guy. But if you were doing harder work and stuff, it will work fine with that. Whether or not you want to do that with a nearly $600 knife, that is up to you. But a lot of people do with Hinderers. They are very well used, well loved knives for sure. As far as ergonomics go, excellent. I was really surprised by the ergos. That was the one thing with the smaller XM18. It fit my hand fine. It was very comfortable, but it just felt small. This doesn't feel small. It's a small knife, as you saw in the size comparisons, but it doesn't feel it. I have very long fingers, skinny fingers, but very long. And this just has that bit thicker handle. I can wrap my fingers all the way around it with just barely touching. It fills my hand so well. As you can see, I'm in no danger of running out of room there. I can put all 4 fingers on it, no problem. And if you want to choke up, you can, sort of. This is not what I would call a full-on finger choil, but if I just use like the tip of my finger and this excellent jimping up here, and it works pretty good. I use it like this a whole lot, and it works great. And again, this jimping is outstanding. It's just the right mix of grippy without being sharp and annoying, and I do really like it for that. I can't really feel this pocket clip a whole lot. I mean, it's there, especially when you're holding it with all four fingers back, but not really. I can kind of feel it and kind of feel this ramp just a bit, but not much. And up here, you can't feel it at all. So yeah, I think ergonomically it's really good. I mean, this is one thing where the Halftrack has an advantage over the 3-inch XM18. At least for me, for my hand shape, I like this a whole lot better. Now, as far as the carry goes, carry's okay. I mean, it's a 4.6 ounce 3-inch knife with a thick handle and not a deep carry clip, so it's not gonna blow the world away as far as how it carries. You do have a fair bit sticking out. I will say, though, this is one knife that I was carrying, and a fellow knife nerd saw it in my pocket and actually said, "Was that a Hinderer?" Because it's very uniquely a Hinderer. And I was like, yes, it is. And I got to look cool to a knife nerd stranger person. It's always weird when a stranger just walks up to you and asks what kind of knife's in your pocket. But it's not bad. I mean, I can definitely get my hand past it, all that stuff. It's fine. I have a couple pairs of pants where it is kind of hard to get my hand past. But in most of them, it's completely fine. It's not a pocket dominator. It does fill your pocket a lot more than most 3-inch knives do, as you expect. Thick handle, all that. The flipper tab sticks out, but it's not horribly annoying or anything. You can feel it definitely when you go by, but it's not too bad. Most of my pants, it carries just fine. I have one pair of jeans. I can't remember even the brand of them. I think probably one of my pairs of Calvin Klein's or something. That it's a bit hard to get your hand past, but most pants, it's completely fine. As far as the action goes, it's always a lengthy subject with the tri-way pivot, but on the bearings, it's excellent. D10 is perfect. It's damn near drop shut. It's really good. I have tried it on all three. We'll take this opportunity to show the awesome high quality Hinderer packaging. That's being sarcastic. That's one thing Hinderer I wish stepped up a bit on. But it comes with your little card here, who put it together and all that stuff. It comes with all the tri-way pivot stuff. I tried all of them. These are steel washers that act as spacers when you put these other ones in. It works fine. On all three, it works all right. I can barely tell the difference between the phosphor bronze and the Teflon, but I can really tell the difference with the bearings. The bearings are really nice, so I run it on the bearings. I joked, I think, when I did my review of my XM18, I thought it was funny that, for a long time, Hinderer resisted getting away from the Teflon washers because he feels that they're the best. And I almost feel like he designed this whole tri-way pivot just so that, oh, you want bearings? You're going to get bearings, but you're still going to get the Teflon washers in the box, damn it. Like, I just kind of feel like that's the way that it went. I'm just making that up. It could be completely wrong. But you get to choose your own adventure as far as that goes. For heavier duty stuff, if you're worried about getting crud in the bearings, I've never found that to be an issue in my life. But if that's something you think is an issue in your life, then yeah, you can go with the phosphor bronze or the Teflon or whatever you want. And that's pretty cool. I would put them in order of most prefer the bearings. And then the other two, I just put as a tie. I can hardly tell the difference, to be honest with you. I think I'd call them a tie between the other two. There's really hardly any difference at all. So where does that leave us in conclusion? Yeah, $585, a lot. And a lot of that is that this is the USA Made Blade exclusive version. The other version with the G10 and stuff, which is going to have a grippier handle, all that stuff. I don't think it needs any more grip than it has. But if you want to go to that, it's a little lighter also, $425. Mostly still all 20 CD blades and everything. Let me actually go back and look here on USA Made sites because they always have the most of these. Yeah, you're looking at $425, and then I'm looking here at one with out the Spanto. Oh no, this is a Spanto, the G10, $425. 4.2 ounces, so it's not dramatically lighter, but it is a little bit cheaper and a little grippier if you absolutely have to have that. I don't think you do. I think this is going to hold in your hand just fine, but that's up to you. I really like the tie. I think if you're going to the G10, don't get it for the factor of grippiness. Get it for the factor of it's less expensive. I'm enamored with this thing. As I said, for this amount of money, I thought it would immediately be going back, but I don't think it is. It's pretty damn cool for sure. And USA Made Blade, great company to deal with. Hinderer, great company to deal with, at least in my experience. And well done. Well done. It gets the golf clap. It gets the golf clap seal of approval. I've carried this thing a hell of a lot more than I thought I would, especially being that it's not officially mine yet. But I like it so much I just couldn't keep it out of my pocket. I took the risk of the wrath of Woody and carried it quite a fair bit. Great knife, and I got to agree with Woody. So far, my favorite Hinderer also. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.